Hey, hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel where I'm interviewing musicians. My name is Tom Burton. I'm a counselor and a musician. I work with musicians with all kinds of issues. I'm particularly interested right now about how musicians are managing during this time of isolation. And today, I've asked Spencer, from a colleague of mine from Edmonton, to join us for this interview. Spencer, would you introduce yourself to the audience and tell us who you are and your background, a little bit of your background in music and what you're doing right now in music?
Sure. I'm Spencer Kryzanowski, and I am a collaborative pianist and coach here in Edmonton. I was working prior to the pandemic at the University of Alberta in the music department. I'm a contract pianist there for a few different professors. I work with the clarinet studios of Don Ross and Julianne Scott and the flute studio of Shelley Young. And so that was keeping me very busy with lots of regular rehearsals. And I am also the pianist for a local opera company called Pop Goes the Opera and another called Mercury Opera. And I also teach a little bit from my home as well.
Oh,
yeah.
So you're quite busy with all of that going on, or certainly have been. So tell me, how has this time of isolation been challenging you right now? What's the biggest challenge for you, Spencer?
The biggest challenge for me has been reshaping my idea of routine. For me, I'm not very good at being bored. I'm the kind of person who has to get up and basically have a dedicated plan. I don't do super well with spontaneity, so I'm the kind of person who gets up and has like a long to-do list that keeps me occupied for most of the day. So I basically had to redo that in a way, and a lot of it is it's now routines of learning music on my own, things that I've wanted to do or pieces that I've wanted to look at for a long time. And I'm starting every day as part of my routine. I'm a really avid yogi, so I've been doing a lot of yoga, and I actually am just starting to get into the Ashtanga yoga system, which is very intricate, but something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. So I finally have the time to do it. Yeah. So I was at the University of Alberta. I work for those opera companies, and I teach from home primarily. And I think the biggest thing is just reinventing that routine for myself.
Yes, and I've noticed you've been performing online. I think Facebook, is that right? I've been noticing some of your performances.
Yeah, that's right. I have, I think that I said to myself too early, well, I mean, it's been about a month that this has been happening now, that I'm learning all this music for myself or looking at this new music for myself and challenging myself. So why not share it if I still can? I've realized one thing for myself, that as a pianist, I have usually no problem playing really slow or moderately fast music that's very expressive. And I've always really enjoyed that music, but I'm trying to challenge myself and really learn a lot of the really fast, really challenging rep that I've put off for a long time, just out of self-doubt and out of, I guess, fear that I wouldn't be able to perform it well under a short timeline. But now that I don't have that timeline, I'm kind of like, oh, I'll jump into this Richard Strauss or this Brahms that I've been putting off for years, and show it online for people if they're interested. I thought, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It's wonderful. So how have you been feeling? I mean, most musicians like yourself and myself are used to playing with others at regular rehearsals. How has that been affecting you psychologically, not seeing and playing with others?
It's been a challenge for sure. I haven't played well, I guess it's a challenge, but also it's still something I'm familiar with, because I think as musicians there's that element of solo practice and isolation at home anyways, because we're used to that kind of that time alone. But also we know that it's going towards something with an ensemble or something else. And I think for me, that's where the video came into it for me, was that, I can't actually be in the room with someone performing or collaborating, but I can collaborate by I guess I can give myself to the audience of online in a way, and it still feels like I'm collaborating with people. They're still looking at it. Still, colleagues of mine are chiming in and saying, "Look at this, you're doing great work," and there's still feedback. And I think that that's really important to me. Yeah, I think that like if I wasn't doing that, I think I would be getting too stuck in my head.
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of the risk for a lot of musicians as it is. And that's actually partly why I left solo performance. I trained as a solo musician, but I was getting too caught up in myself. And I wanted to be able to share something larger with someone else. And I think that's kind of where I'm doing it online. And I think that's kind of helping me a bit with that.
Interesting. Yeah, interesting. Is there anything else that you'd like to share to the audience before we end this interview today?
Well, I just think that like for myself, and I think I could share this, is that I think reinventing that routine or still having some semblance of a day-to-day can be really good. For me, I'm the kind of person where I sleep really well at night when I know I have a project coming up. For example, I actually, with a girlfriend, a wonderful soprano in Calgary, have been putting together a couple of grant applications. One for the National Arts Centre, they were doing an online performance system. And then the Edmonton Arts Council just released a new grant called the Creators Reserve, just for this whole pandemic experience and for artists. And I think that diving into projects like that can still be healthy with this time, and that there needs to be this balance between rest and relaxation, but also still like an inkling of continuing on. Let's keep going and doing this. So that's the biggest thing I could share, I think, is that finding that balance between rest and relaxation, but also still ambition, is really important.
Yeah, good point. Well, thank you very much, Spencer. It's been a delight to talk to you today.
You as well. Thank you for asking me.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye now.